to the International Volleyball Hall of Fame.
I ask you.
We have our guests from Puerto Rico. They're being honored this weekend. The Fiestas Patronales Committee has chosen the town of Comerío to be recognized and honored for this year's 2025 Fiestas Patronales. And the Fiestas Patronales Committee members, if you could just step forward for a moment if you're here. We got a couple, and a lot of the other ones are working. They're right behind me if you haven't met them. Here's a few. And we're gathering here today because our man, Jimmy Camacho, I'm gonna let him kind of go into his vision and spirit, but before we do, I wanna just introduce to everybody our guests. We have Chino, the representative, the state representative. Comerío is within his district, but he lives in Naranjito, which is a very interesting twist to what we're going to learn today here at the Volleyball Hall of Fame, where the sport of volleyball was invented and globally recognized. We also have the mayor, el alcalde, of Comerío, and his wife. He also brought his assistant. Where is he? Yeah. So, thank you guys so much for being here and for welcoming our guests. Thank you for visiting the city of Holyoke. George Maury is the executive director of the International Volleyball Hall of Fame. Before I pass it to George, Aaron Vega, he's our Director of Planning and Economic Development for the city. And a former state rep. He was our state rep for Holyoke for about 10 years, right? 8 years. 8 years. And around there, you gotta round up. And around up. But I'm going to pass it to George Maury to just kind of let us know what building we're standing in today and do your thing.
We appreciate it. Thank you all for coming out here. I know this is a little strange. We have me talking here and the microphone and speaker in the back, so we'll make this work somehow. You are standing in the one Hall of Fame for the entire world of volleyball. So we cover everything from the FIVB down to the local level. We have 185 inductees from 27 different countries in the one place in the world that can call itself the birthplace of volleyball, and that's Holyoke, Massachusetts. We're so fortunate to have this here as an asset to the city and to the state of Massachusetts. We welcome thousands of visitors every year from all around the world, from 15 to 20 different countries, all 50 states in the US. Just really being a small economic driver for this area. And we're super excited to keep what we do here fresh. I know that's what we want Jimmy to talk about a little bit. And so we're gonna do a complete redesign of our museum, a total new layout. We have new exhibits coming up, and we have, this will all happen prior to our induction in October. So this is gonna be a very fast turnaround for a lot of this. But what Jimmy's gonna talk about is kind of a phased project that's gonna be a little bit bigger and special. So we're really excited to host you all here today. I hope you get an opportunity to look around and see the museum. Again, this is just a starting point for us. We have some really big dreams, and with all the folks that are behind us, we know that's gonna happen. So we're very excited to have you guys here, and happy to answer any questions you might have throughout the day. Thank you.
Thank you, George. It's a very special moment to be having this event right now during the 4-day celebration of Fiestas Patronales, celebrating Puerto Rican culture, Puerto Rican heritage. And Jimmy, since I started as mayor 3 years ago, there's never a message that he doesn't send me that says, why isn't there any story at the Hall of Fame that talks about the Puerto Rican contributions to the sport of volleyball? And I said, well, Jimmy, this is how it works, right? It kinda, it's a global thing, everything George told me. And so fast forward, And what George was just talking about, and Jimmy's going to talk about right now, here in the city of Holyoke, to our guests, we have more Puerto Ricans living in Holyoke per capita, not population, per capita, living in this city than anywhere else in the world outside the island of Puerto Rico. And there's a lot to be said, and there's so much that we can be doing differently to continue to grow our city, grow our economy, and continue to build on what immigrants and migrants started before us. And we're here now, and we're trying to continue to work and continue to build up. So Jimmy came up with this great idea. Jim, come on up and let's talk about this exhibit. I want to start this trying to like, without getting into it, because I know it's going to be your story to tell. So, Jimmy.
Thank you so much. Before I get started, does everybody understand the English language? Good? Okay, good. We're going to do English. Everyone good with that? Okay, great. So my name is Jimmy Camacho. I live here in Holyoke, Puerto Rico, of course. Very proud. I grew up in Amherst and got here in 5th grade, 1978. My mom was really strict about keeping our own language and culture, especially growing up in a little town like Amherst, Massachusetts, where there aren't really anything cultural mostly Latino. So, that made me really have an itch to find out everything about Puerto Rican history, politics. So, I've always been a sports junkie. And so when I went to Volleyball 3 years ago, I came from Westfield, and so I wasn't registered to vote in Holyoke. When I got to Holyoke, I saw Josh's name all over the place. I go to what's the place called? The supermarket. Seatown? Yes. Kifu's now. Big sign, man. I was like, who's this Josh García guy, right? So I started looking him up, and I'm like, wow, this is an interesting story. And I found out his mom went to Amherst High School. So it's interesting that she's a Holyoker, but she's also a Amherst Puerto Rican. And Josh asked the residents of Holyoke what they thought were the most important places in the city. So I chimed in and said, hey, it's a Volleyball Hall of Fame. I think, from my perspective, I think it's the only entity here in Holyoke that puts us in a global map. And I visited the place a couple times, and I was just so disappointed. And it's not George Murray's fault at all. He inherited everything that was in here. But my disappointment was really based on the fact that Holyoke is primarily Puerto Rican with a vibrant Irish community, and there's just nothing in there that could get the community excited. So I kind of connected the dots and figured out, hey, the community doesn't identify with the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame has no support, so what are we going to do about it, right? So thank God Josh won the election, because now I'm learning about the city, right? I'm a Puerto Rican mayor for the first time ever. And then I'm doing my homework. Anthony Soto was a really good friend of mine, superintendent of public schools. So I'm like, okay. And I saw Aaron Vega, economic developer. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can do something. So I start sharing information with Josh about Puerto Rican volleyball. And so the history of it, the YMCA, early origins. I was frustrated. There's a wall. There's a YMCA wall there. It talks about China, Japan, Cuba. Doesn't mention Puerto Rico. So I was like, all right, I gotta do some research. Thank God that the New York Times covered the arrival of the YMCA in San Juan early in 1899. And from there, I asked Emil Morales, retired Holyoke cop, if he could get me a meeting with Connor Devlin, who was the new CEO of the Holyoke YMCA when the sport was invented. I met with Connor, great conversation. I asked Connor for help. And Connor, he's not going to admit it, because he's not that kind of dude. But he gave me access to the YMCA internal documents. And that's how I had a feel that I was just like, wow. So, I was reading about our history. I was reading about the evolution of the sport. And you know, our story is really, really unique. Because if you read, you know, the generic story is, yeah, the YMCA got there and these military guys went there and they brought the sport. But our history is special because the YMCA got to San Juan, but Josh mentioned Naranjito, and now I'm going to get right to the heart of Naranjito Corozal. Naranjito Corozal is the biggest on-island rivalry when it comes to volleyball. And the man who brought the sport there, his name is Howard T. Jason. He's an African-American man. He got to Puerto Rico before the Americans got there, before the invention of the sport. And he was sent to Puerto Rico by the Presbyterian Church to be a missionary there. So as the exhibit gets bigger, we're gonna really share a lot of more, you know, we're gonna dive more deep into the sport. This is more, so we had 3 days to build this. And I wanna really acknowledge García. So García was referred to me by my Frau, and my Frau has been my right hand since I started all this stuff. And the reason I brought my Frau is he's another Amherst Puerto Rican who I trust. But you know, he's got a lot of wisdom. He has his own newspaper. His dad was a sports writer, very important person in the history of Puerto Rican sports. And we work well together. So when he referred García, I mean, he had a grand slam. I mean, García got 3 days to put this up, and it was the first time we worked together. And so we were like working with the cloud, communicating with Messenger, and we really, I can't believe we pulled this off. So I want to acknowledge again, García. Please give him a hand of applause. And there's a couple people that I really want to acknowledge that have helped me through this because it's, you know, you need, it's not just one person, it's a collective effort, right? So, I mentioned my Frau, García, Josh, the mayor, but there's a group in Puerto Rico that we really have to acknowledge, so, because they've helped me a lot with the memorabilia, and they're going to come up next year, for the grand opening of the exhibit. First person I have to acknowledge is Jorge Ivan Jimenez, ex-owner of Patriotas Celulares. From my perspective, he's the #1 historian of volleyball in Puerto Rico. He gave me pretty much all his stuff, some hard drives. It's amazing. Second person I have to acknowledge is Ricky and his sister. Her name is Michelle Duff. An amazing family. They literally gave me everything that Ricky Eamon has. So Ricky Eamon passed away in 2023 after I started this effort, and with time I really developed an intense relationship with her. And I got lucky because when I went to Puerto Rico in March, she lives in Colorado, but she happened to be on island at the same time I was, so I got to meet her, and I got to go to her mother's apartment. And you know, her mother was like the keeper of all the memorabilia. So I was just like, this is unbelievable. So I couldn't bring back all the memorabilia on the airplane. So most of it's still sitting back in my Puerto Rico, just waiting to be shipped. So for next year, right, looking ahead, we're gonna have a full exhibit. I'm trying to get some corporate sponsorship behind it. I'm trying to get corporate sponsorship from Puerto Rico also, and you know, have a grand opening next year. George has great ideas. One of them he mentioned was having a satellite replica of the Puerto Rican Hall of Fame inside the Hall of Fame. On my trip to Puerto Rico, I also met with the president of the Puerto Rican Hall of Fame, Pedrito Rodriguez, and he is on board. He's willing to help us with anything that we need. And so we're really, really looking forward to what's happening and what's going to happen. That's it in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions? I want to thank also Cesar Ruiz. I lean on Cesar. I mean, I call him, and you know, to get, you know, from my style has really been nonstop, be relentless. You know I bother people, I can get on people's nerves, but you know what, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about something that needs to be recognized, and it's non-moving. So, that's all.
So by next year's Fiestas Patronales, we're hoping, the goal is to have an exhibit here at the Fame that will recognize Puerto Rican contributions to this global sport of volleyball. That's the idea. And Cesar Ruiz, who has brought new energy into our city. I think during lunch you saw the video. We're trying to build a sports complex. Ideally, would be the new home of the Volleyball Hall of Fame. Just to let people know, those that created this place before us, the Hall of Fame was a small custodian closet at City Hall. And then the city occupied this building, I don't know, maybe in the 70s, 80s, fixed it up. Now the Volleyball Hall of Fame has been sitting here and shining under the sun. But now we're trying to expand and grow at a much higher, deeper level, so that we can punch above our weight here in our city and let the world know that City of Holyoke, we're the birthplace. But not only the state rep gave me this petition, who I gotta formally give to the committee, because it's really the committee's idea, or the committee's decision, petitioning the Fiestas Patronales committee to recognize Naranjito for next year. So, if you don't know, when I went out there to Puerto Rico, I met with the mayor, and then I met with the president of the council, and then me and Melvin, we left 5 minutes, we're on the highway, and I get a call from the state rep. Hey, are you in the island somewhere? I want to meet with you. We just left the state house. You were in the state, come back. So we go back, and then I find out that I meet the mayor of Naranjito. You're the birthplace of volleyball? We're the birthplace of volleyball.
In Puerto Rico.
Here in Puerto Rico.
Yep. Woo!
And I was like, wait a minute, you're not telling me that you invented volleyball. He was like, no, William Morgan. And I was like, yes, William Morgan from Holyoke Mass, that's my town. And so, it just blew up from there. And so, the rep came with an official. This was a nice touch. This is a petition. He's like, we want you to invite us next year to be recognized. And hopefully, if the committee chooses, the delegation out there would come down. The exhibit is going to be ready to be formally presented at the 2026 Fiestas Patronales. So if all the stars align, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And we achieve the dream that you say is long overdue. And just so that everybody knows, the Mass Gaming Commission sponsored, what did they sponsor?
So they gave us funds, so through the tourism committee, we sponsored the money to do this exhibit.
So the Mass Gaming Commission is the official sponsor that gave us the funds to work on the exhibit. So thank you, the Mass Gaming Commission. And there's a group of us, Salinas, Mr. City Mayor. So I told you that last year Salinas got recognized, the mayor came down and I challenged her to a game of volleyball. So September, there's a group of us flying out there to Salinas to play volleyball, and it's going to be the battle of the trophy. Whoever wins gets to keep their trophy in their town. And if we make you guys sister cities, maybe you can compete in that. But we don't want to play against Naranjito though, because from what I hear, they take it very seriously.
Oh yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. You're all invited. September 19th is the game. If you can figure out your details and how to get there, go to Salinas on that day and observe and watch this game. We hope that it'll bring a lot of pride to Holyoke, a lot of pride to Puerto Rico, a lot of pride to the sport of volleyball. So we're very much looking forward to that, and hopefully we can get this project off the ground soon with the sports complex, the Volleyball Hall of Fame, and just continue to grow, continue to grow our foundation here to make sure that the world knows where the sport was invented. So With that said, thank you all so much. To our guests, we're so happy that you're here. And if anyone doesn't have any questions at all, feel free to connect and enjoy the rest of the weekend here in Holyoke during the 25 Fiestas Patronales.